What's up everyone, it is Mr. M and I am back with a new video. Collection update, yet again. We got some vinyl and some tapes and maybe a CD. And let's roll into it. First up is Craven Idol. This is Recrücify. This was released in 2008 and the jewel case or whatever for his cassette is busted because USPS doesn't know how to ship their shit correctly. Craven Idol, as the band that it currently is a black and thrash band. They're from, I believe, London in the United Kingdom. But this stuff here, I think I already said it, and I might be wrong on the year, but it was released in 2008, I'm pretty sure. At this point in their career, they were primarily a black metal band. They definitely had some thrashy elements to it, but it was not nearly as prominent as it is on the Shackles of Mammon or Towards Eschaton, I think was the previous record. But there's still some thrashy riffs on it. It's lo-fi type stuff that you would expect from a normal raw sounding black metal record, and it is definitely great. This was limited to 100 copies. I'm not sure how easy it will be to get. I got lucky. I got it from I believe Tour de Garde. They had a copy for like $6 or something, and that was something that I was not going to pass up, especially since I really do like Craven Idol. Next up is another release I got from Tour de Garde, which this one and Recrücify were not actually put out on Tour de Garde. I think Recrücify was put out on the Starlight Temple Society, and this one here was put out on a label called Taphophobia Productions, and this is Chaotic Aeon with their demo. This was put out in 2008, I'm pretty sure as well. Chaotic Aeon is a band from China. It's just a one-sided J card. Death metal band from China, which you don't really hear much about. You know, death metal bands or any sort of metal band really coming out of China. This was limited as well to 150 copies. Again, I got it from Tour de Garde. I don't know if they have any more. But this is some weird kind of sounding death metal. It's got some influences from the early days of death metal. I'd say more American, but there's also some Swedish influences in there as well. And then there is one part that's an acoustic part. I think it's on the song Pestilence. Which, by the way, with the songs here, there's 5 songs, and I can't actually tell which is which, like which side is which. They both have intro type things on both sides to start out the songs. And I've looked them up on YouTube in a few different places, and it's like the actual audio that is out is very limited, so it's difficult for me to actually tell what side is what. But I believe it's the song Pestilence, the first song on side 2. It's got this acoustic thing in it that kind of sounds like something that Iron Maiden would have done with like what came to my mind at first was some of the acoustic stuff that was on Dance of Death, and it's pretty neat. Chaotic Aeon as a whole, they're amazing, but they're not terrible either, and it's definitely worth a listen, at least every once in a while. I was going to say something else about it, but I forgot. Oh well. Next up, Hacksaw with Amplified Noise Slaughter. Hacksaw is from one of the Pacific Northwest states, either Washington or Oregon. I can't remember where they're from. Fucking glare. This is just lyrics, and then another promo photo right there. Put out on Headsplit Records. as you would expect from a band coming out of the Pacific Northwest. I really like the tape. It kind of looks old school with the gray shell. But Hacksaw is a grindcore band, and one of the few grindcore bands that I really do like. Grindcore is kind of like black metal to me in the way that I don't listen to it much, but the bands that I really like, I really get into. There is 16 songs in total, including a cover, I think. I can't remember which one because it doesn't specify on the outside. But yeah, it's just filled with some absolutely crushing grindcore stuff, grindcore riffs. It's just amplified noise slaughter is basically, that's what happens when you listen to it, you know, as the guy on the cover is, you know, that's basically how you're going to feel when you listen to it. And Headsplit Records has been picking up some great grindcore releases, from Hacksaw to Diarrhea, Repulsic, the Carnifex reissue, even though Carnifex and Repulsic more go on the death grind trail, but it's still fucking grindcore. If you want some solid grindcore, Headsplit is basically the way to go, at least for now anyway. But yeah, this is, if you like grindcore and you've been fucking up and not listening to this, give it a listen. It's been out last year, I think, is when it came out. So yeah, you definitely need to give it a listen if you haven't. Now onward to the vinyl. This one is one that a lot of people have been hyping up, and I was talking to someone when I saw Blood Incantation live in March, and they called me, they didn't directly call me ignorant, but they were basically implying that I was, because I said this was Black Death instead of just straight up black metal. This is Blue Hummingbird on the left with, I believe it's pronounced Alt Tlacinoli. I think it's Latin, not entirely sure, but it's got a nice foil stamping on the front and the back. And no, that's not a swastika. But I think it is Black Death. As I've said, other people, I've seen a lot of people just talking about it as a black metal record, which I guess, because it's part of the Black Twilight Circle, and they're obviously known for black metal. This is just on black vinyl here. Fitting, I'd say, personally. But I'm not going to go into the Black Twilight Circle because I do not like black metal enough to be able to explain it properly. There are loads of other people who would be able to do that. And along with the record, it came with this poster of the album cover, which is pretty sweet. And then it also came with a booklet, and in the booklet got lyrics and shit. And the lyrics are beautifully written. Like, I wish I could write something this good, because god damn, the lyrics, they're just incredible. Blue Hummingbird on the left, as I said, they're from the Black Twilight Circle, Worship Black Twilight. Black metal bordering on Black Death, and they got, the lyrics are all war themed as well. And so along with the sound of their music, people are calling this a war metal band, especially since, from what I've heard from other people talking about the Black Twilight Circle, this is like, Blue Hummingbird on the left is like the war chapter of the Black Twilight Circle. So there's definitely some war metal influences on here. But the reason I call it Black Death is because it's just filled with some death metal sounding riffs. You know, there's plenty of blackened elements to it, which is why I would call it a blackened death record. But it's just filled with riffs and some great melody. Now there's some indigenous instruments on here as well, like Native American sounding drums. There's a flute on here as well, which I know no one asked for that, but it fits in pretty well. And it's mostly on the intro and the interludes as well. It's not like in the middle over some heavy riffs and shit. I'm sure there might be, but I haven't really paid that much attention to it. 13 songs, but like I said, there's an intro, sun, or gun. I don't know, the font on here, if you can see, it's kind of difficult to read, but I believe that's called gun or sun. That's an intro. There's a couple of other interludes in here as well. This album just flows perfectly, and it's almost difficult to compare it to another band or record just because it sounds so different from anything I've heard recently. And I think that's a good thing, you know. I feel like that would make some people want to check it out more just because it does sound so different. And I'm going to be leaving links to most everything that I can find down in the description. And that was put out it was a joint release between Iron Bonehead and Nuclear War Now. So if you're in Europe, you can get it through Iron Bonehead. And if you're in the United States, you can get it through Nuclear War Now. There's also a CD, which is a really nice digipack version, which I got as well. So if you don't want the vinyl, you can get that. And then there was also a Die Hard version, which unfortunately sold out. It came with a pin of, I'm not going to take it out, I already put it in the plastic, but I think it's of the guy on the back of the lyrics booklet. There was a pin of that in the Die Hard, as well as either a patch or a sticker. Next up, Motley Crue, The Dirt soundtrack. It's got a nice slipcase to reveal the cover for the book, The Dirt, which came out in 2001. Gatefold presentation. You got pictures of the actual band themselves, along with the actors that portrayed them in the movie. And basically, to some extent, this is a greatest hits album with a few more songs from Too Fast for Love. And then some original songs, which is the first time they put out more than just a single of an original song since their last album, Saints of Los Angeles, which came out in 2008. But yeah, the only albums that are featured on here are their first 5, Too Fast for Love, Shout at the Devil, Theater of Pain, Girls, 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 and Dr. Feelgood. There's at least one song from every single one of them. Theater of Pain and Girls, Girls, Girls being the ones that only had one song, with Home Sweet Home and then the title track from Girls. And then the few more songs from Too Fast for Love. You got the obvious ones, Live Wire and On With The Show, which for me personally, those were like, I know there wasn't an official single for that album, but to me those were like the main staples. And then there's also Take Me to the Top, Piece of Your Action, and Merry Go Round. And I'm iffy on Merry Go Round. It's a good song, but I feel like there could have been another song in that replaced that. It's got printed inner sleeves. It's just on black vinyl. But the thing is, with these printed inner sleeves, is each side has the first page from The Dirt that each member had written. So for this one is the C and D, the second LP. It's got Nikki's first page and Tommy's first page, and then the other one would have Mick and Vince on it. Overall, my opinion of the movie is that it is fucking great. I love it. I've watched it so many times. I know it's not going to be for everyone, but I fucking loved it. As for the new songs themselves, the best song of the new 4 that they recorded is The Dirt, established 1981, which featured Machine Gun Kelly, who plays Tommy Lee in the movie. And then there's also Ride with the Devil, which I'm judging by the title is a sequel to Shout at the Devil. And then Crash and Burn. And they covered Like a Virgin by Madonna. And they did not make that song fucking heavy enough. They could have done so much more with it. And I don't know who decided to put that as the closing track, but that was a pretty dumb idea, I think. I personally think Ride with the Devil or Crash and Burn would have been better suited as a closing track. But overall, the three original songs, I think they're not the 80s quality that you would want it to be, but they're still pretty good. You know, it reminds me of kind of like a cross between the 1994 self-titled and then the final studio album from them, Saints of Los Angeles. It's got the riffs, it's got the heaviness for the most part, but you know, as I said, if you go in expecting it to be something out of the 80s, like you expect it to be something that would have been on Dr. Feelgood, you're definitely not going to like it. Don't go in with that expectation. Go in with it. If you listen to Saints of Los Angeles, go into it with the expectation that these songs would be the follow-up to that. You know, because Motley Crue basically was sort of, after the 80s, they were basically just experimenting with every single album and adding new things to it. So just go in with that mentality if you haven't heard it yet. And then also, I feel like it's kind of late, but if anyone wants me to do a review of The Dirt, the movie, leave me a comment and let me know. And I know it's kind of late since the movie's been out for it's been out for a month now. Today, I'm pretty sure today is the 22nd. That would mark the 1 month that it has been out. So it is kind of late for a review of it, but if anyone wants me to review it, just drop a comment and let me know. And to close this video out, I have a reissue. Cannibal Corpse, Hammer Smash Face, put out on Metal Blade Records, reissued on Metal Blade Records. Of course, if you're a fan of death metal, you know Cannibal Corpse, you know the song Hammer Smashed Face. The EP also includes covers of Possessed and Black Sabbath, The Exorcist by Possessed, and then Zero the Hero by Black Sabbath. Those are both great covers. And you're probably not going to be able to see it that well, but it's an etching on the B-side. It's got the cover in the middle, and then on the outsides it says Hammer Smashed Face. It was limited to, I believe, 400 or 500 copies on 2 different color variants. There was this one, and then I believe there was a lighter red or a brown. I can't remember, and it doesn't really matter to me personally since I have it. But yeah, I love Cannibal Corpse. I'm gonna keep building my collection of Cannibal Corpse. You can never have too much. And given the fact that we finally got an official re-release of Hammer Smash Face, made me really happy. The unfortunate thing about it is that they charge the same price for that it would for a regular single LP full-length album, which, you know, it kind of sucks because you're only really paying for 3 songs and an etching. But you know, at the same time, it's Metal Blade Records and it's being put on indie merch, and the price of the stuff that goes on indie merch is just getting higher, you know, and it's really unfortunate, but that's just the way the shit ends up playing out. And that is going to conclude it for this collection update. Like I said, I'm going to try to leave links to what I can find in the description below. Some of it's going to be kind of hard to find. Others I'm not even going to leave a link for because everyone should know about it. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, the usual stuff, and I will catch you in the next video.